Hi, it's Chris Kelly again with another Read Aloud. I'm not going to read the whole book on this. This is one that's in your literacy kit. And I know all of the books that are in your literacy kits, I have linked a YouTube video where other educators are reading the books, but they usually just read them straight through. I wanted to go over a little bit like how you could break this apart and use it as an interactive read aloud. That's really what these read alouds are called, interactive read alouds, because, well, they're interactive. So the nonfiction books are both easier and harder to do as an interactive read aloud. This is one that's in your second grade kit, and it's called How Do the Wind and Water Change Earth? Now, this book has a lot of features of a nonfiction text. So if I were using this with a group of boys and girls, and again, any age would work, the youngers might have a harder time with this. So this is really probably for second grade and up. And really talking about like the table of contents. I know this is backwards for you, but really talking about why the table of contents is in a nonfiction book, why it's there, what this means, the page numbers, what these are all sort of the subtitles, and really talking about that. So I would start with the first one, which is Our Changing Earth, and it's on page 4. And looking at the pages, I would identify that we have a title or subtitle, Our Changing Earth. We have pictures with an explanation of the pictures. And one of the things that I find with kids is they often will skip any kind of like pictures with words, and it's really important to point out that in nonfiction books, some of the meatiest details are in these details. That the text is important, but that the text features of having a picture with a blurb is so important. So here's another one with more details. In this particular book, they also do another nonfiction clue of highlighting any vocabulary words. So let's go over the page. So boys and girls, we have Our Changing Earth, and that is the title of these two pages. So we have, let's look at our picture first and see if there's a little text feature here with the picture. And it says, ooh, there's some rocks, and the detail says weathering creates interesting rock shapes. So let's read it. Earth is always on the move. Some forces are building up new landforms. And see, landforms is in bold. Why do you think the author put that word in bold? Right, it's an important new word. We call that a vocabulary word, and this is a word that we should know. So let's talk about that. What do you think a landform is? We know we have pictures here. Right, they're forms or formations that would be on the land. Well, other forces are wearing them down. So we have wind, water, and ice, and they can break landforms into small pieces. This process is called weathering. Some changes happen quickly. Other changes happen slowly. Weathering is a slow process. Here's our next page. Again, we have our picture and we have our details. So let's take a look. In this one, we have some ice underneath this landform. There's a new word we have. Water can freeze in the cracks of huge rocks. Over time, ice can break the rocks into small pieces. So that's one way that weathering can change landforms. And this has a subtitle or a subheading, and it says bit by bit. Slow changes are hard to see. Mountains might take thousands of years to wear away. Only a few small rocks might break off each year. A river can change its course, and course is highlighted. Course is the direction the river goes over time. This would be hard to notice since it might only move 1 inch every few years. So on these pages, it's talking about how the weather can really control and really change the Earth's surface, these landforms. Sometimes it happens quickly. Most of the time, it does not happen quickly. So let's talk about that. What are some things that can change landforms? Right, wind, cold, ice, snow, water, all of those things. So each of these pages in this book have a heading. Sometimes they have a highlighted text. They have a picture. They have more text features here. So going page by page, you might want to just do a page at a time or a couple of pages. This particular book has an activity in it that you may want to try. And it also has, at the back, an index, which gives you details of learning more. It gives you books that you could look at, websites that you could look at. And it also has a glossary. In this particular book, they call it Words to Know. But as we're talking about nonfiction books, we can talk about a glossary of new words or vocabulary words. In this particular book, they're called Words to Know. And it also has an index. And I would review what an index is. An index would be, say I wanted to learn more about storms. I would look in the index, see if the word storms is here. And there's pages, excuse the dogs, there are pages of in the index. So page 6 has something about storms. I could go to page 6 and it talks about storms that blow. Page 8 has something about storms. And this particular talks about a sandstorm. And then I think it said page 22. And page 22 has something about storms on the shoreline and changing the shores, which is particularly interesting in New England. So nonfiction books have to be done over time. My advice to you, if you're using a book like this, and you are as part of our anchor text, is to do it slowly. Do a section at a time and really talk about the non-fiction features of a book. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.